Good evening and welcome to the Invictus Racing League. This is Season 19, the top tier of Tier 1 in the Equal Performance League. Here from round number, what is technically 4 at the moment, the Austrian Grand Prix, and it is sprint evening, which means we're going to have one-shot qualifying, sprint race, one-shot qualifying, main race. I am JPH_99, and joining me, as always, in the co-commentary position is Bruce. Good evening, Bruce. How are you?
Yeah, good evening, JPH. Yeah, brief introduction, I think, this, by the looks of it, because it looks like someone's ready up early, and it looks like we're going to be starting that one-shot quali in about 10 seconds' time. So, yeah, looking forward to this. The one-shot quali does add a level of uncertainty to the groups for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Whoever we get chucked on board with, we'll go for a lap with them. And that happens to be JL Latta, so second place from last week in Spain. We head up towards turn number 1, hit the brakes, 4th gear, flick it through, clip a bit of curve, but not too much. We see that first corner now, the Lauda curve, in memoriam of Niki Lauda. Turn 2 is just a flat flick left as you then head up towards 3, brake as late as you dare, up the hill, down into 3rd. 2nd, you spin the wheels up, 3rd, you might get some more traction out of it, because it is an uphill over the crest into the next DRS zone, as Isaac has retired. Down into turn 4, brake, not much before the 50 board, just tilt it in and gradually get the throttle back on. 5 is flat, 6, a little bit of curve from Lattice, gets a bit of rotation. 7, similar style of corner, he stays in 6th gear, run it out towards the curve through 8, which is absolutely flat. Over the crest for the penultimate corner, and watch out for that pit entry line in the races. You have to stay to the right hand side of it. The final corner takes a lot of curve, does Lattice, but he goes through it quite swiftly. It's going to be Brando Camalango on pole position with a 104.048, but JR Lattice not far behind, and Merck don't quite know where he finished, but it wasn't in the top 3, I don't think.
Yeah, no, Merck qualified 6th there on that, and as I said previous, it's that level of uncertainty with the one lap only. But still, 6th place, it's not a bad place to be starting. You still got enough laps to make some of it during the race. But yeah, on pole position for the sprint race, we've got Brando Camalango with JR Lattas in 2nd, Ferrari 3rd with Louis 4th in a Ferrari, Destiny 5th and Merck 6th, Sydney 7th, Scopefielder 8th, Ryan 9th with Joe Hamster 10th, Keza 11th, Ashtube 12th with no time, Isaac with no time, and we've got 4 guys down the back end, all DSQs: Ivan, Gotsboot, Devis and Gattuso.
And it must be said that Gattuso does have a 30-second penalty hanging over his head from last week. With that, rejoin with Keza. Stewards deemed him fully at fault for that one and applied the necessary penalty, and since he retired, he couldn't serve it, so he serves it this week.
And I believe that it goes on to the main race as well, doesn't it? So
yeah.
it won't affect him for the sprint. Free now in this short sprint, but yeah, obviously 30-second penalty going into the main race. Really, I think for him, it's going to be a case of just getting to the end to get rid of that penalty. Obviously, if he DNFs from this race, then it will just carry on to the next until he finally completes a race.
Yeah, and Keza, the local Austrian weatherman, saying there's rain in the feature race. Oh, sorry, feature qualifying, sorry.
Okay, so
feature
that could be very
have.
interesting. Yeah, it could be very, very interesting then. And yeah, as we said, the one shot mixes it up a little bit, but with a bit of rain in the one shot as well, that could make it interesting for people, especially with setups. I think obviously everyone's going to want to go for a dry setup if it's a dry race. Going to be tricky round here in wet conditions.
Yeah, and the other thing as well is obviously with the new sprint format, drivers can alter their setup between the sprint race and feature qualifying. So it means if there is a weather change and the race for the feature is also wet along with qualifying, drivers can make the necessary setup changes because the parc fermé is lifted between the sprint race and then the feature section of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as you say on previous games, you sort of you did your setup for the sprint race and that was it. You couldn't change it. But yeah, with the new format for the sprint weekends basically treated as two separate races, basically. So I think it's a good thing, really. Whilst it does sort of take away a little bit of strategy with the setup, I think it sort of probably creates slightly better racing. When everyone can be on the correct setup they need for that particular race. But yeah, we'll be interested to see how this goes. As you say, a few people a bit further down than you'd expect them to be. The Red Bulls were looking very good at the front at one point. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to got disqualified, didn't he? So I noticed. I think a couple of people took small advantage from that. If you DNF, if you retire from the session, rather when you DSQ'd, when you've done track limits, you do start ahead of those that complete the lap. So yeah, a couple of guys. I think it may have been possibly Isaac and Ivan. I'm not unsure if it was Ivan or not, but yeah, it gives you a few places advantage. But yeah, here we go on the formation lap.
And everyone, probably as expected, on the medium compounder tyre for this race. Obviously, 12 laps around what was known as the A1 ring, or the Österreich ring, now known as the Red Bull ring. It's a track of many rings. So yeah, no surprises there. We don't need to show the tyres, but I will show the position gains, I think, as we go through, especially the first couple of laps, because ultimately, obviously, with the DRS coming in after one lap completed, and that first DRS zone up to turn 3 is active on lap 2, which is quite unusual in races, because most of the time the detection point for the first DRS zone in a lap is normally prior to the start-finish line, so you don't get that first handful of DRS, whereas round here it's after the start-finish line, so you're going to get that dose on lap 2, which means it's going to be quite a lively start.
Yeah, definitely, and DRS is very important around here. But also, I think if people start to battle, you can quickly close up with the pack in front. We saw even yesterday in the main race, we were probably halfway through the race, and there were still trains of up to 8 or 9 cars all fighting each other. So, yeah, excuse me, it can be quite interesting with that early DRS.
Absolutely. Good evening to Mikey, who's in the comments. Hopefully strapping in for an interesting race. I'm going to go on board with Brando. And we are green for the sprint race here in Austria. As a good start from Joe Hamster, who's immediately up 2 places. Other moves being made, as you can see, on the tower on the left. Through the first corner we go. It's quite tight. JL Assis trying to fend off Ferrari. But it looks like we've got a clean getaway through turn 1 here in the sprint race. But JL Assis just about keeping second. We got side by side between Destiny and Ferrari up into turn 3. Later on the brakes is Ferrari and the Williams. Pinches on the apex. Should get better traction with the more open line. We have a yellow flag. I don't know if that's just because people are extremely slow. But Isaac down 4 positions. He's now last in the pack. But it looks like everyone's fairly settling down. Merckx down the inside of the Alpina Scopefielder. He's got to try. He's not had a good start. He's down 2 places. Scopefielder now having to fend off Keza, who's going to go round the outside of 6. That's a lovely move. You obviously keep the steering a little bit more open. Further back, we've got Ryan and got Spooked going side by side. Through it, a little touch through 8. That's got to be careful through that. That can be a huge accident. As we've seen in the past, but Gospuk does pick up 11th place in the end, and it looks like everyone's now settled into a line. As I say that, Louis looking to the inside of Sydney up towards turn 1. We got the pitter of Ash Tube, so I can only assume he's picked up damage somewhere. But it looks like we've all calmed down, and Bruce can. We've got a spinner instead. I was about to say Bruce can have a bit of a speak, but Devis has gone round at turn 1, and now we can go to Bruce.
Yeah, it was a pretty chaotic start of that. Incredible start from Joe Hamster. It was almost like he knew exactly when those lights were going to go out. But yeah, brilliant stuff from him in the Ferrari. Ashtube just slightly tapped the back of someone into turn 3, lost his, part of his left-hand side of his front wing. So that's obviously forced him to pit now, and realistically out of any chance of points in this sprint race. Other than that, yeah, a couple of spinners at the back there now with Isaac and Davis, but yeah, other than that, I think it was fairly clean. Scopefielder had a bit of a moment as Keza went round the outside of him, but apart from that, I think we're all good.
And Merckx is now looking at the back of the Ferrari of Joe Hamster. Everyone's got to be careful of his track limits through the penultimate corner. JL Latta sets the fastest lap of the race so far, 106.063. See, DRS now active, so it's going to be hard for Brando now to pull away from that Haas. And Merckx is fighting himself in that DRS train. And remember, unlike RP, obviously Reedus Performance has the top 8 score in their sprint races. Here in Eco Performance, it's just the top 5. So if you want points, that's where you want to go. And you have to think people are going to fight for it more, as Louis is down the inside towards turn 4 on Sydney. It should be a done deal move, but we see a load of people defend position by going around the outside. Merckx now side by side. He's gone around the outside of Joe Hamster, and he'll claim that place. Obviously, you can open up the steering earlier, get the power on more. But Bruce, you have to feel, because this race doesn't decide just your grid position, you're going to see a few more riskier moves trying to get into that top 5.
Absolutely, but you know, people got to remember that anything too risky will give you a penalty for the main race next week as well. So, or possibly actually, sorry, gone to this week's. But yeah, it's all a bit feisty out there at the moment. Merck looking to make position, did a really good move on Joe Hamster. And Destiny in front has had a couple of lucky escapes on curbs, and I think Merck's about to get past him up into 6th place now.
Up into 6th for the Mercedes, and Sydney has got back past Louis. Now those two have got to be careful. They need to almost play leapfrog here to make sure they stay within DRS of Ferrari. As we say that, here comes the leapfrog from Louis down into turn 4. Sydney looking for a switchback, does get the drive, but can't quite get the turning. He's still going to look to go down the outside, and Louis, I think, saving ERS there, up towards turn 6. Now, this part of the track, very hard to overtake on, easy to pop ERS onto none to maybe save a bit of battery to defend through those DRS zones, but it will make you slower out of the corners.
Yeah, this is going to be Joe Hamster with a 3-second penalty for track limits, so that's not ideal. Only 4 laps, sorry, I'll get it right in a minute. Only 4 laps in, but yeah, Louis is going to have a bit. Actually, no, Louis is now possibly managed to get within DRS of the guys, and he has.
Yeah.
So it was looking iffy there for Louis, that he was going to struggle to stay ahead of the guys behind, but he's done a really good job of getting back into the DRS, and that's going to save him from attack as Merck goes up the inside of Sydney.
Yeah, nice easy move there for Merckx. JR Lattis has also got into the lead of this race. He done that down the main straight, side by side between Ryan and Scopefielder, coming down the hill towards turn 4. As I think Brando has been overtaken by Ferrari. They're still side by side coming through 5. The Williams up into 2nd. I'll see there has been a number of personnel changes in the teams. I'll see if I can quickly find those. But all this fighting has meant, instead of having a 3-car battle for the lead, we now have a train of 9.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said before, it doesn't take much, a little bit of battling, as you say, everyone's together as Brando sliding the car through the last corner, which has given Louis a slight run on him. This could get awkward here, as Louis backs out of it, settles in behind, which is probably the right thing to do in that situation. But yeah, this is, as you say, turned into a very, very long train. We've got 9 cars now, all within DRS of each other, and I feel if they start to battle a bit too much at the front, then Ryan got spooked on Ivan and Scopefielder and Gattuso.
Oh, someone's gone round. Ferrari Forever 07 has gone round at turn 3. I don't know if that was self-imposed or he had a helping hand, but that actually stopped Louis from completing an overtake on Brando, as Louis was down the inside of Brando Camalengo, but obviously the spinning Williams causing a yellow flag, stopping that Ferrari from making progress. Yeah,
absolutely. And now all this has caused JL Lattis to get a 1.2 second gap on Brando. So you feel now with the pace that JR showed last week, this could potentially. But I feel that Louis and Merckx are going to be attacking Brando, and it's just going to give Lattis the opportunity to disappear a little bit. But yeah, here we go. Louis looking again, but on the way up to turn 3.
You say early doors, but it is already lap 7 of 12. Merck looking to maybe make a double overtake. to the left side of one, looks to the right to the other, but can't quite find it. Actually gets a bit twitchy on the exit, which could invite Brando to re-attack him. Luckily picks up that DRS quick enough. And past Louis goes Merck. So now the challenge is for Merck is, can he... Oh, a bit of a twitch through 4. But the question is, can he get away from Louis enough to stop him from overtaking? As I think Gattuso is off at turn 4.
Oh! Yeah, Gattuso has just reversed back on track, right in front of Isaac. And they've had a massive collision at turn 4. And yeah, Gattuso's getting going now, but he has picked up a penalty for the collision. I feel there may be further penalties for that at a later date as well.
Yeah, sounds like unfortunately another return to track for Gattuso. Brando, however, he has made a mistake somewhere, or he's just been absolutely freight trained, because he's now down to 6th. So I don't know. I wonder if that Red Bull is not set up for these medium tyres, which if that's the case, that's not good news for the feature race, which will have a big stint on those mediums as he gets down the inside of Destiny back up to 5th. Isaac has retired from this race, so not ideal for him, but obviously in reality he's not going to get anything out of it. He might as well rest up ready for the feature section of the night.
Yeah, I feel like he had quite substantial damage from that impact with Gattuso. Gattuso also pitting, spun it immediately at turn 6, so I think he may have big damage. Joe Hamster struggling as well a little bit there towards the end of the lap. So yeah, everyone's struggling maybe a little bit more on the tyres now. It's a pretty flat out circuit. You're constantly leaning on the car, so once the tyre wear starts to kick in, it can get a little bit sketchy. But
JR Lattis, yeah, he's got Merck there, but I think JR Lattis is going to be a little bit saved here by the retiring Isaac, because there's currently a yellow flag being flown through that DRS zone, which means Merck can't really do a lot until after turn 3.
No, absolutely, and yeah, it can be quite hard to get the run out of here, but it does look like Merck's got good traction there out of turn 3, and it's a big squeeze, but it's enough room given just about. Very good defensive driving from JR, but Merck's in a great position now for turn 6.
A bit of a wheel tap. Thing is, through 6, and we've seen this multiple times, the outside line, because you're not putting in as much steering angle, you can actually get better runs out of the corner. And JR Lattis showing that, but these two side by side, I wish it would give me a different camera angle on the outside. Merck does actually finish the move, possibly with a bit of ERS usage, as Gattuso now retires in the race. But Merck has finally got that move made.
I don't think JR will be too phased about that. He knows he's going to get the DRS again here now. Well, that's going to ruin it a little bit.
Oh, and Sydney's gone round in the background.
Yeah, all kicking off at the moment as we hit the latter stage of the sprint race. But yeah, Lattis with that 3-second penalty is a disaster.
Keza and got very close there as they were approaching the recovering Sydney. Sydney now picks up 3 seconds of penalties for good measure. And this showing the limits that these drivers are going to, the fact that they are, I mean, this is only a third race distance of what the feature race is, and there's already several 3-second penalties.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's but as I say, it's one of those circuits. You know, you're leaning on the car so much. It doesn't take much for you to just miss that apex ever so slightly. The pace that these guys are going in this tier, it's hard to regain where you want to be on the track from that point. But yeah, Merck's all over the back of Lattis. This poses an awkward question now for Merck, because he knows that JR has a 3-second penalty, which will obviously stick, but he's got Louis right behind him as well, so he can't afford to take it too easy. He's kind of got to get the move done, even though Lattis has that penalty.
Yeah, and here comes Merck to the outside, gets a big squeeze from Lattis. Enough room given there. Merck later on the brakes gets his stop and turn it in, and Louis is going to have to try and get past Lattis as soon as possible. Ryan is out of this race, and that is in a bit of a weird place. I mean, Ivan is there as well. That's a very strange place to be having an accident. I mean, you'd have to say someone swept across someone there to have an accident.
Yeah, you'd have to feel contact involved there somewhere along the line. Louis there just clipping the curb on the inside of 6, got a little bit sideways, but he's held it all. He's all over the place here through 7. As he comes down to the penultimate corner, he's still within DRS of the 2 guys in front. But a little bit of a moment there for the Ferrari driver.
Biggest thing here for Lattis is that gap to Brando Camalengo. Joe Lattis is currently 4/10 behind Mert. Brando Camalengo 3.8 to Mert. So at the moment, Lattis would finish third and claim 3 points from this race. So in reality, that 3-second penalty might not come back to haunt him as much as it probably should do in this race.
Yeah,
as Destiny up the inside of Joe Hamster into turn 3. Joe Hamster defending around the outside, a little bit of contact as they get close together, but all is fair game at the moment. And in fact, Destiny's got a poor exit, and here comes Gotspook to the outside. Oh, he's gone into the back of Joe Hamster. He's lost part of his wing.
Yeah, Joe's slightly off the road there as well. The Gotspook kind of found himself boxed in a little bit. Oh, more contact. But yeah, Gotspook found himself boxed in a little bit there. But yeah, Merckx coming up towards the penultimate corner for the end of the race.
So here comes Merckx. He's gone up 5 places this race. So get up into the lead. He didn't have a great qualifying, but he's going to come home for the sprint race win. 5 points in the bag. Louis will finish second. Oh. And a huge accident in the background as Lattis finishes third. Brando 4th. Destiny 5th. Joe Hamster, well, I say 5th. Keza's 5th. Destiny 6th. Joe Hamster 7th. Sydney 8th. Scopefield 9th. Ferrari is in 10th. Gotspook is out of this race. I'm not quite sure what happened in the background. We'll come back to it as Ivan finishes 11th. Devis Yacalo will finish in 13th. Well, finish in 12th actually. And Ashtube 13th. But Bruce, did you see what happened in the background?
I was, yeah, indeed. I was on board with, I think it was Joe at the time. Yeah, one last hurrah from Gotspook trying to maximise the inside of the final corner, but unfortunately found there was a pit wall in the way, and very much a repeat of what Reese did last night in the feature race in Tier 2.
There we go. Lucky not to collect anyone in that case, then, because last night Reese collected another car. Obviously, not really his fault, to be fair. But lucky that it only got spooked involved then.
Yeah, he was very lucky in that he, as you say, he scooted across the front of everyone. Joe was luckily able to slide down the side. But yeah, there we go. A pretty frantic sprint race to start the evening.
There you go. Bruce, you want to take us through the provision race results for the sprint?
Absolutely. So Merckx taking the win there from 6th on the grid in the Mercedes, with Louis 2nd. Great result for him. Lattis 3rd after that 3-second penalty, with Brando Camalengo in 4th. Keza 5th, Destiny 6th, Joe Hamster 7th, Sydney 8th, Scopefield in 9th, with Ferrari in 10th. Ivan Belloff 11th, Devis in 12th, Ashtube 13th, and DNS from Gotspook, Ryan Gattuso and Isaac.
So there you go, the sprint race is done. And as I mentioned earlier, we have had a few personnel changes in the team. So whilst this heavy rain comes down, this is going to be 4 wet tyres, I think. A quick note, obviously, Lebedev is in the Alpine camp. He's not here tonight. But Sydney is a full-time McLaren driver. Scopefielder is full-time Alpine. So those two now scoring team points as well.
Yeah, indeed. I've just seen the safety car has just driven out onto the circuit. I've not seen that before. It's a new one. But yeah, I'm sure in the digital world they'll still be able to race in these conditions, unlike real life. But yeah, this could be, this could mix it up massively, especially if they have to go with a dry setup for the race. Trying to get round here with what would be relatively low wings to what you'd probably want in these conditions. Yeah, could mix it up a bit. We saw Merckx obviously came back really well to win that sprint race, but did qualify quite a bit down. Had to work quite hard for it. So yeah, it would be interesting to see exactly how much this shakes up and whether we get an unusual name at the front.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately your setup here depends on what the race weather is, because if the race weather is dry, you have to go dry setup here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Obviously, well, it's not a tricky one if it's a dry race. You got to go dry, as you say. But yeah, as I say, that dry setup in quali is going to be tricky. But yeah, I mean, these guys are quite talented, so I'm sure they'll be fine. Once they start their quali runs, but you could well see maybe a few more track limit invalidations, I think, in this session than the previous one.
Yeah, 20 seconds until the row off begins. Obviously, the most useless tyre in F1 in real life, these full wet tyres, but they do get a bit more use in this game. So it's good. It's good to actually see them being. I don't know quite how we're going to keep going because the safety car's still on circuit there. We're not going to go on board. We're going to go on board with Gattuso for this one. So up towards turn 1 we go with the Mercedes, and you can see the difference in their grip level as we head through turn 1, just coasting through the Lauda curve. Obviously no DRS available because of the wet weather. Up towards very early on the brakes from Gattuso, just not quite sure what he's got underneath him grip wise. Don't want to be touching that curb either. Up over the crest we go. He's 6th at the moment on track in terms of the one-shot qualifying. And again, before the 100 board on the brakes into turn 4, and just the front end not wanting to grip, which says to me they are on dry setups. I'd say Merck has invalidated his lap. He's down the bottom in 17th. As we head through turn 6, and a bit of a slide for Gattuso, but he holds it well through 7. Again, just coasting it, gradually bringing that throttle again. Flat right. Again, probably a bit too much curb here from Gattuso, too much wayward on the circuit. Into the penultimate corner, and a bit of curb on the entry, just gives him a little bit of a slide. And more curb, and more sliding from Gattuso into the final corner. But he will make it through. It's going to be Brando Camerlengo once again who takes pole position. Gattuso in 9th and Merck in 10th, I think that was.
Yeah, he didn't invalidate. He obviously just had a little bit of an issue. It must have been into turn 4. I wonder if he went slightly deep, didn't quite catch it. But yeah, well, a few mixes there. We got Ferrari and Louis on the inters, as well as Merckx and Scopefield. So yeah, maybe not quite the amount of grip Merckx was hoping for on those inters. But yeah, interesting to see him a little bit further down. He's going to have to work even harder now than the sprint race.
Bruce, should I take us through the grid order for the feature race?
Sure, yeah. So Brando, Camerlengo and Gottspeak make it an all Red Bull front row here, with Ferrari forever in 3rd, with Louis 4th, JR Lattis 5th, Ivan 6th, Destiny 7th, Ryan in 8th, Gattuso 9th with Merck in 10th, Scopefielder 11th, Sidney 12th, Joe Hamster 13th, Isaac 14th, Devis and Ashley 15th and 16th, and Keza, unfortunately, the only one with a DSQ in that session.
So the question is, what's the weather in the feature race? It is bone dry.
Yeah, it looks dry. Some clouds in the background. Some pretty heavy clouds there in the corner. But it'd be interesting to see if that develops into anything. But yeah, it does look nice and dry for the moment.
Must admit, you see on the trees in the background where that cloud is, it almost looks like it's that sort of mist where you know it's raining in the distance and it's coming for you.
Yeah, it does look like that. I'm unsure as to whether or not that is the case. It'd be interesting if it is, because obviously everyone would be wanting to start on the dry tyres. I don't know if anyone's able to share that information for the race with us, as Destiny has unfortunately left the session.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we have Destiny as a friend, as far as I'm aware, because he's not on our platform.
Yeah, this could be an interesting race to see Merck come up through. He made it up from 7th in the sprint race up to the race win. So, and obviously he's got 3 times as much time to do it in this race. It's sort of that danger zone, though, isn't it? In the mid pack, with such a full grid, and obviously, yeah, I'd like to sort of say it's great, to see a grid this size. Finally, this season, we've had a few races where it's been maybe not as many as we'd like, but great to see that. We've got a decent grid tonight, and more people joining week in, week out. So, yeah, hopefully soon we'll get a race that's a full 20.
Yeah, absolutely. The bigger, the more the merrier there, as they say, and it's absolutely true. But as you say, Merrick, in that slight danger zone of the mid pack, especially in turn one, because obviously if anything happens at the front, it normally cascades down through the pack, through the corner. So, and obviously the further back you are, the harder it actually is to avoid the chaos in front of you, because you arrive and it's just suddenly there on you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we saw yesterday in the tier two sprint there was an incident at turn one, and yeah, a few people managed to scoot around the outside of it. A few people, unfortunately, as you say, got caught up in it, and it's that luck of the draw sometimes as to where you are on track, as to whether you get away with it. You know, you could be as skillful as you want to be, but sometimes there's just not a lot you can do about these things. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens if everyone behaves themselves into turn one and up the run to turn three.
Yeah, I think turn three probably the more crucial one because of the heavy braking zone. Is an even slower corner than turn one, so it wouldn't surprise me if we see maybe a bit of action through that corner, whether that be overtakes or a bit of contact. But the other question is, what sort of strategy would you be going for here? Because obviously we had our race last night. Generally speaking, it's a medium-hard strategy in either order. But what would you probably look for as your starting tyre here?
I think a lot depends on where you are really on the grid. I think anyone top 10 you probably want to be starting on the mediums. You know, there's not a huge difference between the medium pace and the hard tyre pace around this circuit. The hard tyre is actually a good tyre. I think you were saying yesterday, JPH, that the hard tyre, even though it is the hard tyre, it's the softest compounds available around this circuit. So, you know, the hard round here is almost as good as the soft at some of the other circuits that they visit. So, yeah, it's an interesting conundrum, but I think, yeah, if you're near the front, you probably want to be starting on the mediums. And not only that, it gives you maybe a few more options if you do get an early safety car.
Yeah, yeah, as you say, obviously they do tend to use the softer part of the range for this circuit, which means that the hards are effectively the medium tyre in the whole Pirelli range of the 5 compounds that they have. I must admit, Brando's decided he doesn't want to hang around for the start of this race, but he's going to have to, because he's going to have to wait for everyone to line up. That's a very quick formation lap from the Red Bull.
Yeah, we still got Keza, and it's not his fault, but he's still going through the mid part of the track. So yeah, he's going to be sat there a long time, Brando. Maybe, yeah, I'm unsure as to why he's gone so quick, but yeah, everyone has their own little ways of doing things, I suppose. But yeah, the grid's slowly forming now. Keza currently sightseeing at the moment, but just going around the final corner now, and the man with the green flag should be waving pretty soon.
Yeah, and we have 6 drivers on the hard compound tyre: Lattice, Ryan, Gattuso, Merckx, Scopefielder, and Sydney. So a nice little mix here as we head for the start of the race. We have the 5 red lights, and we are green for the feature race in Austria. Who's going to have the best getaway? Not quite sure from that camera angle. Up towards turn 1. I think that was 4 wide briefly coming down the main straight. More side-by-side action down the field. Ryan up into 7th. Joe Hamster into 9th, passing Gattuso as we go up towards turn 3. And you're going to start to see the difference of compounds in terms of grip. But the 2 Red Bulls side-by-side for the lead. Got spooked, and there's contact behind. And there's a Ferrari. That looks like Joe Hamster along with Gattuso and Destiny are there. And Destiny now with a 10-second penalty for that contact. Further back, further towards the front, we've got Lattice and Louis side by side. Louis on those medium tyres should have better grip. Scopefielder going past Ashtube. Close through turn 6 we go. The Ferrari does get his man though. And he's going to go after Ryan, who's had a great start in that kick. Sauber, he's up into 4th place on those hard compound tyres, but it is Brando who leads from Gotspook, Ferrari, and then Ryan in 4th. Then we have battling all the way in 9th place for Scopefielder, looking to try and get past Ivan.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly what happened there into turn 3. All I could see at the end of it was what appeared to be some sort of motor vehicle love triangle going on with a few of the cars. So a little bit unfortunate for them. Looked like they kind of all got hooked up on each other and couldn't go, as Louis gets a run now on Ryan coming up to turn 3 with that DRS, with that gap now to Ferrari forever up in third, who's gone for a move at the inside. I think Brando's made a mistake.
Yeah, and so has got spooked as there's contact down the straight. I say straight, it's a bit banana curved, but Ferrari down the inside have got spooked. That was a hell of a squeeze from the Red Bull. They've both got out unscathed though, and they're still side by side up towards turn 6. Side by side, a bit more contact, but they're still going racing. Wheel to wheel contact again. It just shuffles Ferrari wide, and that gives the clearance of got spooked. And you have to say that's just hard, fair racing there. Both of them fighting for the same piece of tarmac.
Absolutely. Ivan with a small mistake out of 7 got side by side currently with the Williams of Devis, and Devis wide. This is getting a little bit feisty here. A little touch there from Keza on the back of Ashtube. Not really a lot you can do about that, just a bit of concertina. But yeah, this is getting a little bit chaotic with this group of 6 cars.
The big news story here, look where Merckx is. He's down in 12th place fighting this med pack. We said it's a dangerous place, and he's found himself scrapping with the midfield. As Lattis gets past Ryan, Devis going past Ivan, but this is not the ideal start for Merckx. He does have a lot of time left, but he's going to lose a lot of time in this fighting battle here, as Ivan and Ashtube now side by side, as I think Ashtube practically bump drafting with Devis there for a little bit.
Yeah, not seen that. This is wow. Merckx round the outside, but I think he's going to get one move done, potentially still side by side at the moment with Devis. But again, now he finds himself nowhere to go. Devis tries to stick it around the outside, and that is the problem, is that's just kicked off slightly in front of Merckx and held him up a little bit more. And now this 6-car battle, I believe, has turned into maybe a 7 or 8 car battle.
And I can see the problem. Ivan being the bottleneck because he's lost the front right end plate of his front wing, which is why he's so slow compared to everyone else. Because you look at the gap that Ashtube's already pulled out. I mean, Ivan just about within DRS range at present, but I think that's not going to last as we head through turn number 1. And everyone concertining. I think there's more contact further back. Keza in the wall. Front wing carbon fibre everywhere at the back of the pack. As Ryan Sydney, I think, has lost out a few places. Brando's got past his teammate once again. Merckx in 10th is looking at the back of the kick Sauer of Ashtube. That's pretty much his second home, that Sauer, in RP. And he does get Ashtube into 4. But a huge concertina effect into 1 causes lots of front wing damage.
Yeah, absolutely. When you've got that many cars fighting that close to each other, it's very... Yeah, good stuff there. Yeah, Gotspook did get past Brando briefly into turn 3, but then I think Brando got back past him on the way to turn 4. So I'm unsure whether they're really working together. But Louis has caught right back up with the group of 3 at the front, and it's now a 4-way fight for the lead.
Merckx with the fastest lap of the race. He now has clean air. He's got 2.2 to Scopefielder. Has got spooked. Is side by side once again with his teammate, and Ferrari Forever going up the inside as well. But as we've seen before, and there goes Brando almost letting Gotspook get alongside him. Is this a bit of a block tactic? If it is, it's not really working because Ferrari's found a gap down the inside of Gotspook. A little bit of contact slows them all up, and Louis there almost looking for a way past the pair of them as they go side by side through turn 6 and towards 7. But this almost looks like a bit of a block tactic from the Red Bulls, which is great teamwork if that is the case.
They've hooked up. I think a bit of F1 24 physics there. They hooked up together. It's allowed Louis through into 2nd. So Gotspook dropped down to 3rd, Ferrari Forever down to 4th. But not only is it, potentially a block tactic, I mean, it's a very difficult thing to do with the DRS. It's so powerful around here. But that has brought everyone else back into this race. We've now got 7 cars at the front, all within DRS of each other.
Yeah, and let's face it, Scopefield are only 2 seconds away from the pack as well. And he's going to bring along Merckx, because Merckx is slowly catching the Alpine. Ferrari now has a 3-second time penalty. But the perfect thing here for Louis is that he managed to get past the pair of them that were fighting, and he's instantly in DRS of Brando, which is going to make it hard for Gotspook to re-overtake him and help the cause for the Red Bull.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's I can feisty here is Ryan at the back of his pack. Scopefield is starting to catch the group as well. Merck is obviously catching them. It's going to be a very tight group in a minute. They've got 5 hard tyres all in a row at the moment. Hard tyre runners all in a row. And yeah, they're sticking with the mediums very well. I think they'll be pretty happy with how this is panning out right now.
Joe Hamster around the outside of Ivan through 6. Ashtu and Devis Carlo is also going to town in the battling area. And we have got Spook looking to the inside of Louis up towards turn 1. I don't think he's going to be enough alongside to warrant the space. Does back out of it, but that does allow Ferrari to be on the back of him. And this is probably the worst part now for Got Spook. He's got Ferrari behind him, who has a penalty. Now, ideally, he doesn't really want him to get involved, but Louis to the front of the pack.
Yeah, good move from Louis there. Pretty standard overtake, but I think Brando's got a better run out of turn 3. And he moved on before he even gets to the braking zone.
Good stuff between the pair of them. Merck has got past Scopefielder. Scopefielder struggling a little bit. He doesn't quite have the pace at the moment around here. Has got a Spook now to the outside of Louis. Through 6. We know this move works. And got a Spook showing it still works, although they're still side by side. A contact between the pair of them. That's a great save from Louis. Someone's across the gravel. That's Ferrari in avoidance, I think. Good save from Louis as there was a touch of inside contact. Again, no one really at fault there, just hard racing. And Louis down to 4th. Sydney into a podium position in the background. You've also got Ryan past Ferrari. But it is getting very, very close. And Sydney on those hard tyres in 3rd.
Yeah, incredible stuff from the McLaren driver at the moment. Brilliant to see. Brilliant to see him mixing it up at the front. A really good save from Louis, to be fair. As you say, one of those difficult ones side by side through there. I think Louis maybe just got that slight bit of understeer. It was a very gentle touch on the rear of the other car.
That's a huge accident. I say huge accident. That's a huge moment between Joe Hamster and Ashtu. They were trying to jostle for position coming up towards 3 to overtake Ivan. And there's a collision between Joe Hamster and Ashtube there. And Ashtube's come off work. You get the sense that'll be in the stewards later.
Yeah, quite remarkable that he's managed to avoid any further damage than what he has received, really. But when I look behind now, I think Ryan was just poking his nose out at Louis, but yeah, Louis still got a good run. We've got a move at the front between the 2 Red Bulls. I think this is all orchestrated once again, but it's like fighting a losing battle, I feel, for these two. It's going to be so hard for them to keep the other cars at bay whilst they're trying to work with each other. And yeah, down the inside, there we go, Sydney. So thank you very much. I'll have a bit of that. And probably we'll have DRS here as well. Then a good grip out the corner from Brando.
Yeah, Ashtu retires, unfortunately, from the race. No, I'm not really surprised in that one as Sydney goes down the inside. I think Sydney got such a poor exit through 3 because he got it all squirrely in the middle because he was trying to make sure he didn't hit the Red Bull. Side by side between Ryan and Louis as well. Just behind, and it's like Noah's Ark. They're all coming 2 by 2. But it all settles out through turn 8, and it is Sydney in 2nd, Brando in 3rd, Louis 4th, Ryan 5th. And this train has gone to 9 cars because Merck and Scopefielder has now joined this DRS train. You can see in the background, and J.R. Lattis looking behind him, thinking, I could do without him being there because he's got a couple of races on me already.
Yeah, 100%. And it's an awkward situation now for these guys, especially towards the back of the pack. And we found ourselves in a similar situation yesterday. You're in this DRS train as Sydney there into the lead and gets a nice clean move on Got Spooked. You feel he's going to be attacked again though down to turn 4. And yeah, no, I don't think. Oh, Got Spooked sends it anyway. It was a very late move down the inside. Bit of contact, and side by side again we go for the lead.
You get the feeling Sydney won't be too appreciative of the rude entry from Got Spooked there. Slightly late bit of contact. Joe Hamster in the pits. That's got to be for a new front wing. There's no way you'd be changing onto mediums this early. In fact, actually, Joe could end up near a lap down. He's going to be fighting with Keza now.
I think this is his second stop. He stopped just a minute ago and has stopped once again. So, yeah, not sure quite what's happened there to the Ferrari driver.
You are correct, that is his second stop, so I wonder if he's maybe thinking that he's going to make another stop, or he's now hoping for that safety car to arrive. But Sydney's done well here. He's not been overtaken in the DRS zone. And I think that was because Ferrari Forever and Ryan were quite close from the reaction from Bruce there.
Yeah, it's like Ferrari kind of threw it down the inside. It didn't kind of look intentional. It looked like he tried to get out. It did make contact. I think it may have been contact with the back of Louis, actually, funnily enough, and had a half spin, but managed to regather himself. But that has spread the group a little bit. Ryan now is over a second behind Louis.
Yeah, but we know how quick that gap can shrink with battles ahead. The top, and Gerald Lattis actually found himself down in 9th place, so he's lost a few places in the last lap or so. So you can't lie, it's hard keeping up with all of the action at the moment, although we do now have 2 DRS trains on the go.
Yeah, and we're only on lap 12 as well. There's been a lot of action so far, considering we're...
Oh, a bit of contact into turn 1 between Ryan and Ferrari. I think that's put Ferrari around at turn 1.
Absolutely, 100% it has. It looked like Ferrari tried turning him, and unfortunately there was a cyber in the way. But yeah, I don't think Ryan really did too much wrong. We got a little bit of chaos in front of Ryan still, though, with Scoop Fielder and Lattis, who now made it up 3 places from where he was 2 seconds ago.
Ryan's got front right wing damage. He's lost his end plate. Now, I don't know if that's as a result of something. Lattis has also lost his front right end plate. There's a lot of end plates missing right now from drivers' cars, and it doesn't seem to be affecting some of them as bad as others.
No, we have noticed that end plates don't seem to be as bad, but Ryan is struggling a hell of a lot through this section right now. I do wonder which side was it? Was it the front left, you said, or the front right?
Front right. So it's the opposite side to the side Sydney hit.
Yeah,
so
Ferrari is inconsistent with that. So yeah, maybe something else has happened there to Ryan, or maybe it's from earlier in the race and we've just not noticed. But yeah, Merck now in 5th with the gap to Brando in 4th, but as you say, he's probably going to catch that up pretty quickly, I think.
It does make you wonder if there's maybe a bit of concertina somewhere that we didn't see, and just a little bit of contact here and there. Sydney and Got Spooked side by side through 3. Got Spooked's got a good run. I think Sydney ended up all over the curb, which ruined the run coming out of 3, because the outside is a very normal line to defend your position through turn 3. It looks like the Red Bull of Brando down the inside of Sydney. Sydney all out of shape.
Yeah, Sydney was very sideways out of turn 3, and then coming into turn 4, looks like he's locked the rears and gone very sideways coming into the corner, which has allowed Brando through as well. So yeah, Sydney dropping back there pretty quick, and that, as we said, has now brought Merck into it. As you say, just that one little battle, and it's enough to bring everyone else back into the race.
Absolutely. This Gerald Lattis is now 1.2 behind Merck. You get the feeling that front right end plate is not affecting him a lot, but it's affecting him enough that he cannot stick now with the top 5. And he's maybe waiting, maybe hoping for that safety car so he can come in and get that wing changed. Because ideally, you don't really want to be changing it under green flag conditions, because it's a 7-second pit stop.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Safety car is really what you need in this situation. And even then, with it being so close, you're going to lose a few more places. But yeah, Louis up into 2nd. Will Brando try and hang it around the outside? Does. And Merck down inside as well of Sydney. So boxed in, very boxed in.
And Sydney will try and go down the inside through 6, but as we know, the run through 6 into 7 on the outside, that's also quite a powerful move. And Merck makes that one stick. Lovely bit of driving from the pair, than not to make any contact. Louis on the back of Brando. The question is, when are these medium runners going to pit? Because whilst they do have equal pace, obviously the undercut can be quite nice around here, and we have the first person, which is Ryan, and I fear he's going to be changing his front wing as he has a slight gap to Ferrari for the pit stops, but that's a fair way he's going to have to go on medium tyres.
Yeah, it is for sure. I think we were looking at maybe about 2.5%.
Brando down the inside of Louis at turn 3. Sorry, Bruce. As we go through into the next DRS zone, the Ferrari losing out, but the DRS pops open and Louis fights back. And here comes Merc to the outside as well, but he can't really do anything at the moment. He's just got to eat some popcorn and watch this battle in front of him. Isaac is in the pits, but he gets a good run, does Merc, and he'll take Brando Camalengo into 6. And all the while, Louis still actually catching Got Spooked even whilst they're battling.
Yeah, it's still chopping and changing a lot this race, and you feel though it's probably one of those situations where even if Merc does hit the front, he won't be able to get away just purely because of this DRS. So,
Brando with a slightly illegal pit injury, just slightly over the line. But he's going to pit, and to be honest, it's something that we noticed in the sprint race. Brando's car fades towards the end of the stint. And that was very noticeable in that because he was losing places hand over fist.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just an aggressive setup he uses. Maybe it stands him in good stead for most of the race, as you say, just to struggle towards the end. But around this circuit, as you say, because of this DRS, it's difficult to really get away from anyone and make that work, as Merc makes the move on Got Spooked for the race lead.
To the inside, job done for Merc. And you can definitely tell that those hard tyres are now starting to be, well, they are now the faster tyre at present. It's just a case of how long the medium runners want to keep running. As Got Spooked, the rear end of Got Spooked car is all over the show at the moment. It's so loose. Merck's had a moment coming through 8. And he's dropping. Oh, and there's contact between him and Lattis. Good save from Merck.
Yeah, his car's intact. Didn't really see what happened there. Brando Camalengo with a 3-second penalty, so that's not helpful for his fight at the front. Yeah, that was a bit chaotic. Got Spooked. Obviously came into the pits nice and cleanly, but I think the car behind him nearly very much collided with the back of him, not aware that that's where he was going.
Yeah, I wonder with Lattis and Merck, because Merck was very slow through 8. I wonder if Lattis thought with the speed differential he may have cleared Merck prior to the corner, but obviously didn't quite notice Merck was still alongside him as Sydney and Louis battling down towards 4. Merck now past Scopefielder, and you do wonder if maybe Lattis may just let Merck through, give him an easy move, just to sort of resolve that slight incident.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of that will depend on if Lattis feels he was really at fault for it, I guess. I didn't see it myself, so I couldn't really comment too much, but yeah, well, it looks like they're coming in the pits, actually, Louis and Lattis both coming in. And yeah, puts Merck into what will be second at the moment, chasing down Sydney, who is on the hard tyre. So at the moment, you have to say overall, Sydney's probably in a very, very good position in this race.
He is an out of DRS from Merckx, who's going to be under pressure here from Scopefielder. Which is not really what he was looking for, but it's what he's going to have to deal with. Interesting as well from Lattis, he's now going to go onto the mediums, and we said about Brando obviously go into the hard tyres. With obviously Ryan going to the hard tyres, Lattis only 3 laps later. I mean, they will do around 18 laps, but they're not going to be pretty at the end.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think you'll probably be looking somewhere around the 50% wear by the time they get to the end of the race. They'll be good though for the start of the stint. So, and with that lighter fuel load, you know, maybe you might get a little bit less wear out of them. But yeah, he's got to kind of make it all count really now. Anyone that's gone on to mediums early, i.e. Ryan and Lattis, really do have to make this count early doors and try and catch back up and get to the front as quickly as they can.
Yeah, and it's probably one of the biggest challenges here in terms of trying to make the undercut work around Austria is the lack of DRS. Obviously, you're going to have the grip through the corners, but you do lose a little bit down the straights if you're not in a DRS train of some sorts. And you can kind of see that with Brando's time. You see, like, through the corners, he makes up a couple of tenths. He then loses a tenth and a half, 2 tenths down the next straight when there's DRS. So it's a really hard thing to make undercuts work around here if everyone is kind of like just sitting pretty in line and just working together to build that gap. But luckily for Brando, they've been fighting quite a lot, and it's meant that he is definitely going to be undercutting these ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, with that 3-second penalty hanging over him, that's not an ideal situation for him. But yeah, as you say, I mean, he's only 13 seconds behind the the guys in front as Ryan goes down the inside of Gattuso for 7th place. But yeah, he's only 12. I mean, he's 12 and a half. He's taken chunks out of them in front. So the 3 guys in front, when they do pit, they're going to have a lot of cars, I think, to work their way through. But having said that, we've seen that it's possible, especially with how much overtaking is available at the circuit.
Yeah, Latter's on the back of Ryan. Both are now with full front wings, so having to kind of like bite the proverbial bullet, as it were, and having to change them under the green flag as Merckx goes to the front. Scopefielder follows down towards turn 4. Pretty basic, simple moves. Latter's ahead of Ryan. Ryan sort of unable to put up a challenge up into 3. Devis Carlo coming up to the back of his I would say his teammate, but the problem is Ferrari is a reserve driver, so he won't be under any sort of team orders from the Williams team.
And here we go. I think all 3 of these guys in the front are now coming the pit. Sydney actually had a wobble out of turn 3. That's why he got overtaken by both Merckx and Scopefielder. But all 3 of them. Keza with a 3-second penalty towards the back of the field right now.
He's just about to unlap himself, I think.
This is going to show exactly how much work Scopefielder, Merckx and Sydney now have to do.
And they're on their way out of the pit lane. I think it could be close here with Lattis and Ryan. I think they're going to get out ahead, but they're going to have to go for that tyre warm-up phase. And the momentum is going to be with Lattis and Ryan as they then build up the speed through to turn 3.
So yeah, they've definitely come out a little bit further ahead than I was expecting them to. So obviously the pit lane not quite as long here with it being such a short pit straight, but it'll be interesting how this pans out. Devis now with a 3-second penalty. Merck behind Louis. You think he's going to get it past him pretty quick, but as I say, that the differential between the hard and the mediums isn't that big around here, and you feel that even if Merck does get past Louis, all that will do will give Louis the chance to stick with him in a DRS and close up to the group at the front.
Intrigued to see what Gattuso is up to. He's 20 lap old hard tyres at the moment. So I'm unsure what sort of strategy he's looking to play for. Maybe looking to go straight to the soft compound. Renz is in the chat saying he loves this Wreckfest DLC and he's calling a safety car on lap 29. Well, we've seen some pretty interesting accidents so far and no safety cars being called, so Gattuso in the pits as well.
Yeah, it's been incredible. Obviously, there's that big crash earlier with Ashby, but he's retired in the pits because of it. But other than that, there's been lots of bumping and lots of sideways, but no real dramatic incidents. Obviously, the turn 3 on that one where everyone had a big cuddle. But apart from that, it's been relatively clean. But the racing's been fantastic so far to watch and to commentate on. So, yeah, thoroughly enjoying this one. It's been a great evening so far.
Merckx up into 3rd place. Bit of DR assistance down to turn 4. The question is, how much can the Red Bulls help each other here to try and make Merckx take as long as possible to catch up to the back of them? Because you get the feeling that Merckx will catch up to the back of them. It just depends on how long.
Yeah, absolutely. As Brando there, it looks like he just got spooked through, which has just made Merckx a bit closer to the leader now. Forever, I believe it's a second lot of 3-second penalties for him now. So yeah, the penalties starting to rack up now as we are about to hit the last third of this race. It's going to be difficult for the Red Bulls. We've seen them go formation before to try and stop people getting past. All it does, it brings everyone else into the equation and adds a few more cars to the threat as Louis goes past Merckx.
Yeah, that was not in the script for the Mercedes driver. Now you can see him all over the rear wing as we head towards turn 6 and 7. Louis a little bit deeper in, but still carries the pace. It's good stuff from him. We know Louis got good pace here. I mean, he's had good pace all night long. It's just fantastic to see. Obviously, for those that don't know, Louis, I mean, probably about 4 or 5 seasons ago, we were fighting in the 3rd tier of this league. He's now fighting at the front of tier 1, and he's fighting with the reigning and defending Tier 1 champion, and I believe I'm right in saying the two-time champion in T1, and there goes Merckx up into third, but he's going to give the DRS back to the Ferrari.
Absolutely, and this is what I was saying, literally a couple of laps ago, is that even though Merck's got those better tyres, just the DRS is going to keep Louis in this, bring him up to the back of the pack. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if in about 5 or 6 laps' time, we've got Lattis joining this group as well, and we could see a 7-car fight at the front.
Yeah, Lattis has been gradually dropping time every single lap so far. His tyres are now 6 laps old compared to those around him. As Brando picks up another 3 seconds of penalty, so that's 6 for him. It makes you wonder now if the Red Bulls need to change tact here and almost sacrifice Brando's race here and basically be as big a nuisance as he can to Merck to allow Spook to get enough of a gap to try and fend off this attack, as Ryan now picks up 3 seconds.
Yeah, welcome to any other circuit. I think that would be a potential, something like Monaco or something like that for sure, even somewhere like Canada. But around the circuit, this DRS is so powerful. I don't see how you can defend from a car coming that fast from behind you. If you try and back it up a little bit, they're just going to breeze past you on the straight. So, yeah, very difficult, really, I think, for the Red Bulls to know how they can sort of manufacture any sort of result out of this for both of them, rather than just racing normally with Merck to the end of the race and hoping that Spook can get the job done towards the end.
With the amount of people with penalties, welcome to Track Limit Simulator. It's going to be interesting. I think one of the most interesting things that may...
Oh, Louis.
Speaking of the simulator, Louis decides to join in the game. Makes you wonder how close other people are to getting penalties at the moment. But it does make you think that potentially, like for the F1 25 game, maybe is an update to this game. Because in real life, Austria has had an update in their sort of track design through that penultimate corner. As Devis gets past Ryan, and Bruce is booming and eyeing about something that's going on, and Merck looking to the outside of Brando Camalengo into turn 4. Brando giving him just about a car's width of space, which is what is legally required by him. It's not quite going to do it though, and Merck down the inside of 6. As you know, they're going to keep it side by side, are they? And Brando can't quite keep it alongside the Mercedes.
So it was Ewan and Nine. It looked like Ferrari forever. Didn't quite get turn 1 right. Ryan just gently tapped the back with no damage caused. And it allowed then Ferrari's teammate of Devis to sneak past Ryan as well. But these track limits are really going to harm people as Merck goes for the lead, and that's job done into turn 1. But you feel that he's just going to get overtaken again. A scope fielder now joins the crew. So we've currently only got 5 drivers on track without track limit penalties.
You do wonder how close they are to getting penalties, as Gottspoot kind of half-heartedly puts his nose down the inside and will probably cost himself some time and a position to his own teammate.
Gottspoot going to get the move done now, I think, still down into turn 4. And
down the inside, he's run deep. Runs a bit deep. Merck almost a little bit pushed wide. They're still side by side. Up towards turn 6 we go. Gottspoot's going to have to hang this round the outside. Has he got the tyres? Yes, he has. But a bit too late on the turn-in for turn 7 means Merck gets a clear car length ahead.
Yeah, it's just going to be so difficult for Merck to break the DRS, though, isn't it? And Gottspoot joins the crew. Oh my God, this is incredible. Everyone is getting penalties. Merck is looking pretty tidy at the front now. Him and Lattis, the only ones without penalties in the top 10. And in sector 3 we've got a yellow
Devis
flag.
is out.
And it's a
safety car, lap 27, and there's a couple of cars. There's a couple of Ferraris. A couple of the 2 Williams look like they've come together.
Yeah, not sure what's happened there. I'm on board with Gattuso, but I think the cars have been cleaned up already.
They have, yeah. I was on board with Ivan trying to look across because Ivan's come into the pits for what I would suspect is going to be soft compound tyres to the end of this race, and now the drivers have a huge conundrum.
He thinks Sydney now has 13 seconds. I believe 10 of that maybe for a collision. And Louis nearly into the back of Sydney. I'm assuming that's for a collision. Hopefully for him, he'll get that revoked by the stewards, and he'll be back to just a 3-second track limits. But yeah, does everyone come in? It looks like one way or another, everyone is.
Yeah, the top 6 is in the pits. What does Lattice?
10 seconds revoked. So yeah, he's looking at a legitimate 13 seconds worth of penalties, which is not ideal for the McLaren driver.
Ryan into the pit. Interesting, Gattuso's gone on to medium tyres, not the compound I'd have gone for this late in the race.
No, I think the soft would probably be a better shout. Sydney's also gone to medium tyres as well, which is a bit of a surprise. But yeah, Merck now picked up leader. One person that will be happy about this is Keza, who's just got past the safety car.
I've just seen as well, I think Sydney's come out behind Ryan. And I think that's because Keza, who is a reserve in this tier, but is in the McLaren for tonight, because Keza was so close to being lapped, I think Sydney got bulked up as a double stack in the pits, and he's lost out a good 3-4 places there. Same as Brando had to double stack when he got spooked.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. It does look like Sydney has actually managed to serve that 10-second penalty, or one of his 10-second penalties in the pit lane, which I assume would be the 10 seconds for the serious collision. So, in theory, those 13 seconds now, that last 10 seconds for speed in the pit lane, he wouldn't have served. So I think these 13 seconds now are legitimate 13 seconds that are showing for him.
Yes, because you definitely don't serve your speeding penalty at the same time you come into the pit lane.
No, so yeah, a bit of a shame for Sydney that that's happened. 13-second penalty.
He's going to come back into the pits.
So yeah,
this is smart.
Thinking.
As he almost loses it. And this, as Sydney also picks up 10 seconds now for ignoring yellow flags, because he technically overtook Ryan whilst he was trying to come into the pits. So he's going to get rid of 10 and gain 10.
I mean, I hope for him that because everyone's so spread out that he does get another chance to come in and get rid of his other 10 seconds. But this has rather turned into a bit of a... Was it Esteban Ocon a couple of seasons back, just kept getting penalties left, right and centre in the same race for different things?
Yes, I believe it was, yeah.
Pretty much what's happening to Sydney right now. But yeah, fingers crossed for him, they get another lap after this one, and he can come in and get rid of it. Whether he'll be on softs though then for the end of the race, I don't really know.
Brent's saying he's going to buy a lottery ticket tomorrow. I wouldn't do that, mate, because you said on lap 29, it was actually more like lap 27, 28 the safety car came out. So
absolutely, and you might as well be 30 laps rather than just the one, aren't you, at the end of the day? So
the question is, are we going to have the safety car in this lap? In theory, it should have been called in by now. So I'm going to guess we're going to have another lap of safety car, which is going to help Sydney, because he might be able to get back in, serve those 10 seconds, hopefully not overtake anyone on the way into the pits to pick up another 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think he's I'm guessing he'll be very, very careful this time.
And you can see him keeping to the right.
And in Sydney comes for pit stop number 35. But yeah, it makes sense to get rid of it.
This is the fourth time Sydney's come into the pit lane.
And that's very slow into the pits, so double checking, making sure. One person who actually, with all these penalties floating about, one person that could be looking at a very good result tonight, considering he's been involved in a little bit, is Joe Hamster, who's in 11th. No penalties just yet.
Yeah.
And he's got a 6 seconds, 3.33, then Lattice, then 6, 3.33 again. So, and with how close this is going to be towards the end, if he can keep his nose clean, I think he could easily be looking potentially at a top 6 here.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone from having a group hug with people to being in a really good position to score good points. So, I mean, the main thing is to make sure he doesn't pick up his own penalty. As we only have 4 drivers now who are penalty-less. Safety car is in this lap, which is not ideal for Sydney because he is 15 seconds away from the pack.
I think he's going to catch him as we've got the safety car disco in the top left corner. I think he's going to catch him. He could, have a remarkable run, but no, I think he's going to catch the pack at the slow speed. That's kind of, I want to say it's worked out for him. It's not really worked out for him. He's had to shed 30 seconds worth of penalties, I think, but he's managed to do it, and back to 3 seconds, and now back in the race and in with a shout with some good points.
Ren's thinking we're going to see a 6 wide, and Malc will be proud. Well, we'll find out, because when is Merc going to go? Sydney on the back of the pack now. When is Merc going to go? We've seen cars before this corner, between these corners, in this corner, in the last corner, after the last corner. What are we going to see tonight? It's going to be after. It's going to be late. He's bulking, and now he goes, and he got spooked well off guard there. I mean, he's only 4 tenths, but you could just see the reaction from Spooked was just so delayed. As we head up towards turn 1 for the 32nd time, we have 5 laps to go in this Austrian Grand Prix. And we have yellow flags at turn 1. I think that's for Destiny getting out of the way to make sure he's lapped fully. Brando Camalango down the inside of Schofielder. Good move from the Red Bull member. As Isaac picks up 3 seconds to add to his previous penalties. But everyone with a penalty symbol is pretty much fighting for position, which is dangerous for those that don't have the penalties, looking to capitalise on those that do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it does make it difficult. There's a bit of a conundrum. I mean, especially for Lattis, he's in the middle of a group of cars that, that have penalties. So it's a difficult thing for him. What does he do? Does he want to overtake? Does he want to risk the fact that he's fighting with someone with a penalty? A little bit of a gap now back to Ryan from himself. But it does make it very, very tricky to know exactly what to do. He's got a good run here, and I think that he's going to back out so he can get Scoopfielder on the next straight potentially.
Meanwhile, at the front, Got Spooked is on the back of Merc. What can Got Spooked do? Can he interrupt the Mercedes in any way, shape or form as we head up towards turn 3? Looks to the inside, thinks better of it. Meanwhile, JR Lattis to the inside of Scopefielder. It's a good move from the Haas, and he'll make that one stick. Louis on the back of Got Spooks. Not close enough to make a move yet. Oh, I think we've almost got 3 wide behind. Joe Hamster, Sydney. And I think that was Isaac as well involved. Joe sticking to the inside of turn 6, looking to keep that place, but Sydney round the outside, staying there. Can't quite complete it. Looks for a switch through 7 into 8. Can't quite find the space there either. Down towards the penultimate corner they go. Nothing to change there. And Joe Hamster joins the club.
Welcome to the club, Joe. And that just leaves Lattis and Merc now the only ones without penalties. So it's nearly a completely fair race all throughout. Destiny, I believe he's a lap behind, isn't he, Destiny? So
yes, yeah.
So unfortunately for him, but so that won't make a difference to his race. But it's getting very tight at the front here again. Merc, difficult again, like I say, for him to know what does he do here. Does he even try and fight, or does he just let them go? But at the moment, everyone's sort of biding their time with a couple of laps left. Don't really want to go for that move just yet.
Sydney looking to try and get past Joe Hamster, still can't quite do it. And now that Joe Hamster has that penalty, this is pure position fight now. For 11th and 12th, for 2 and 1 points respectively in the championship.
Yeah, it all makes a difference, doesn't it? Just those extra points over the season, they are worth fighting for. As Lattis looks to get the inside of Brando.
Down the inside he goes and completes the move before they get into the braking zone, which is good news for Lattis because it means he can carry the pace through turn 1. Get the DRS, and now he can try and get up to the back of Louis. Meanwhile, Louis down the inside of the pair. I've got Spooked and Mercked. He's into the lead of this race for now, and this is exactly what Lattice needs, is this lot to fight to keep him in touching distance of Mercked. And here comes Got Spooked. Down the inside of Louis as Mercked retakes the lead into turn 4. Lattice looking for a move on Louis. Looks like he's going to get one. He's going to have to go around the outside of 6 to get it. And Louis decides better than to try and go too wide through there for now, this late in the race. But Lattice is coming.
Excellent move from Lattice there. Absolutely perfect. Do so with another 3 seconds. Absolutely perfect from the Haas driver. Just let Louis run a little bit wide and cut back. But here we go on to the last lap of the race. And I'll tell you what, Lattice is in a very, very good position here.
He is, but he's going to need Got Spooked to really start to hamper Mercked up towards turn 3. Ivan up into 7th. He's had a very quiet race, but he's fighting with Ryan. Side by side, here comes Gattuso as well for good measure. But back at the front, Got Spooked down the inside of Mercked. He is playing into Lattice's hands. Brando trying to get past Louis. But Got Spooked alongside Mercked. But Merck's going to have the DRS, and Lattice is going to look to try and follow. To the inside of 4. At this point, you kind of feel Spooked probably doesn't really want to fight Lattice too much here, because Lattice has a chance here to take points away from Merckx. Although I don't know if Spooked may want to contest his time penalty, but I think Lattice is going to run out of opportunities, and he's going to run out of them fast here on the final lap. He's 4 tenths behind Merckx. I don't see him getting past. It's very difficult to even get an overtake done in these last couple of corners. And Merckx probably has a bit of ERS saved up. But through the final corner, it is the Mercedes of Merckx. It is once again another victory for the reigning defending champion. Lattice in 2nd, Spooked finishes 3rd, Louis in 4th, Scopefielder 5th, Ivan up to 6th, Ryan 7th. Brando is in 8th, Sydney in 9th, Gattuso in 10th. And well, they're so packed up, you can't get through everyone. But Ivan Belov, you have to say, he was pretty quiet through the whole lot of that as Merck picks up driver of the day. No surprise there for the positions gained. But Ivan, very quiet race in the end, but he's finished 6th.
Yeah, brilliant stuff really from the Aston driver. Yeah, he's, as you've seen, been fairly quiet in that race. We haven't probably really focused on him that much, but yeah, he's done the job and got himself up through the field. Aided probably a little bit by that late safety car. But yeah, still great work from him.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the same podium as we had in Spain.
That's quite possible. Yeah,
it is. It is the exact same podium as Spain. So good to see these 3 drivers prospering at the top. And Merckx once again a very big challenge on his hands. But Bruce, you want to take us through the provisional race results for the Austrian Grand Prix?
Absolutely, yeah. So Merckx working hard for his win ahead of JL Lattice in the Haas. Got Spooked 3rd with Louis 4th. Scopefielder 5th and Ivan a great 6th place. Ryan 7th with Brandon Camalango in 8th. Sydney 9th, Gattuso 10th. Joe Hampshire 11th, Isaac 12th, Keza 13th, Destiny 14th, and the last classified finisher with Ferrari, Davis and Ashtube all retiring from the race.
Fantastic news. We'll see if we can get some drivers in for some interviews. So whilst we wait to see if we get anyone into the comms box for interviews, it's that was pretty much as we expected, which was action every lap, almost every corner, from all parts of the field.
Yeah, I mean, we said pre-season in other conversations that this game, the style of driving is far more frantic than last year's game, and I think this sort of circuit kind of exacerbates that a little bit as well. So yeah, not a surprise that it was as chaotic as it was. We saw some excellent, great, really good wheel-to-wheel racing in there as well. To be fair, so yeah, I mean that provided a bit of everything, didn't it? Tonight there was a bit of action, a couple of accidents, close racing, and yeah, it was brilliant all round, to be honest.
Yeah, and obviously being a sort of sprint race, and the first time we've used the new sprint format that was introduced last year in real life, I think that worked quite well because we saw obviously we had the Red Bulls at the front like normal. It was similar sort of grid, but you saw Merckx have those two very different positions on the starting grid, and different names in different places.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. I mean, based on, if it was same as last year's sprint and main race setup, obviously Merck would have been starting on pole for the main race as well. So, excuse me, it does make him, or made him have to work a little bit harder tonight. But yeah, I'm sure if you ask him, he'll say it was fully in control and maybe not deliberate, but I think he had to, maybe use a slightly different skill set tonight to what he's used in the past. But shows that he's not only just quick at the front, but he's able to race hard and fair and clean through the field, whilst not really putting himself at risk.
Yeah, and I think we have to talk about Louis because we know that it's not every race that he's at the front. But tonight his pace was fantastic to watch and fantastic to see.
Yeah, definitely. He's come a long way, but he's been showing good pace, to be honest, all season. You feel he's that podium's nearly there tonight, wasn't it? And yeah, hopefully he'll mix it up at the front a bit more regularly. But we also saw Sydney was up there as well. Obviously the penalties, the 30 seconds worth of penalties that he had to get rid of, really did kind of destroy his race somewhat. But yeah, there's plenty of people in this tier that have that pace ability to be at the front fighting. It's just making sure or hoping it all comes together at the same time.
Absolutely, and I get the feeling the stewards are going to have a busy week this week from all that action. Got spooked saying his race was decent enough. Completely bottled the sprint quality at the last corner. Same thing for the sprint race. Full race went a bit better. Could have gone for the win without his track limit penalties, but once he got there, he just decided to not fight too hard and get as many points as he could. The safety car ruined it a little bit, but considering he only made a setup an hour before the event, he's pretty content with the outcome. Merck stating qualifying was just bad for him. Didn't have the pace to be with the top guys and made a mistake in the feature quali. Both races went well. Luckily, people were fighting a lot and losing a lot of time, so he managed to catch up and have the chance for the win. He's happy to have no penalties at the end as it was difficult to keep it clean and fast. Saying good game to the podium, and he looks forward to next week. And speaking of next week, Bruce, we head to Las Vegas and Sin City for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And let's face it, if the action is anything like it was tonight, we are going to see a lot of interesting moves.
Yeah, it's an excellent. Well, I say an excellent circuit. It's an excellent circuit for racing. A lot of people don't like it. Yeah, sometimes tyres can be a bit of a gamble around there, but yeah, it's an interesting circuit. That massive straight at the back does provide a lot of overtaking. The walls are close, obviously, with it being a street circuit. A little bit more open, I think, than last year on this game. It's not some of the around there, and hopefully another full grid. And I'm sure the action will definitely match what we've seen tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and we can only look forward to commentating on that one, because I think the last time we done Vegas, it was spectacular to commentate on, and I think it's going to be no different this time around. But that is all we have time for Tier 1 tonight. So thank you everyone for watching the race tonight. If you have enjoyed the racing, do make sure you like the stream and subscribe to the Invictus Racing League YouTube channel so you don't miss another live race for the rest of this season. RPR on tomorrow, no stream for them at the moment, but they are racing at Austria. And then we're back again next week. Tier 2 from Las Vegas on Tuesday, brought to you by Joe Hamster and possibly JP911 if he's around. And myself and Bruce will be back on Wednesday for Tier 1 for round 5 of Tier 1. And we are very much looking forward to that one. So make sure you join us next week for more of the top tier action. But for myself and Bruce, thank you for watching tonight. We hope you have a good rest of your week. And we look forward to seeing you once again in the Invictus Racing League.